I always wanted to do an experience in the, let's say, the supranational institution, that we have in this world, that is the European Union. And I applied for traineeship actually in 2019. I applied many times before and I was always pre-selected but never got in, but you have to keep trying. I applied and I got in. That's how I ended up in Brussels.
Can you introduce yourself and also tell us about your personal journey as an EMJMD student?
Of course, pleasure to be with you guys and also with a generation also from the same program here. I'm Violet, I'm from Argentina, and I was doing the Erasmus Mundus in Tourism Management, so EMTM program.
Your personal journey, that how did you accomplish and what were the challenges you faced along the way?
I think I kind of stumbled upon EMTM because I'm originally a political scientist. So I studied first my bachelor's in political science and then I specialized in public administration. So I already had an MA when entering the program, but my thesis was actually on public policies related to tourism development in cities, and that's why I ended up applying to the Tourism Management Masters. And I actually encourage you all to also think a bit outside the box from traditional careers as well, because sometimes maybe in more traditional countries like in Latin America, we have, for example, economics or big careers that can have so many different applications. And this is the case, I think, in my experience, that it was great to really go into a different field and talk about sustainability, talk about entrepreneurship in the tourism industry, which was something I hadn't touched upon before.
Completely agree. How did the EMJMD program enhance your academic and professional skills?
I think for sure it gave me a lot of skills regarding multiculturality and understanding of different realities and also different ways of working. The three universities were also, the systems in the three universities were very different. So the Scandinavian system is very much like design-oriented, whereas then we went, for example, to Slovenia, where it's a more traditional way of educating, and exams are really, very serious, and you have to sit for it, and you will get a mark, and this is, totally different experience. And for me, that was a great thing to also understand the working environments later on in each of these countries, and then to think about myself professionally, where would I like, which kind of environment would I thrive on working best, let's say.
Since you mentioned that we are from the same program, I would also like to ask you this super cool thing that we have about our program, that how do you stay connected with your peers and alumni after completing the program?
Well, I think my case is a bit special because I eventually ended up staying for 2 years in the last university, related to the last university where the program takes place, which is in Girona, in amazing Girona in Spain. So I did get to know 2 or 3 generations after mine when they were doing their courses, and that was great because I also could network with them. We definitely keep in touch via social and digital media, but I think the best is reunions. We actually had our last year we had our reunion from our generation, and I was organizing it very proudly. It was very difficult because people came from Japan and Canada and also all over Europe, but it was just that amazing experience to be together and meet again. And of course use opportunities like this one, where it's not only the program but also the wider community of Mundus that gets together and come and talk about our experiences, even as a regular member that maybe is not so involved but still wants to contribute from maybe their professional life, or just to be here cheering for other people that are still in the process of doing their masters, finishing their thesis. And that's also good to say, okay, I did it, you can do it too. And I think that's a way to also help each other out.
Yeah, I agree. And how do you think that EMTM or any EMJMD program contributes to the broader goals of the Erasmus Mundus Association and its mission to promote international education and cooperation?
Well, I always say that the European Commission is very brave and is very, humble as well to invite people from all over to join these programs, because I also think that in Europe, Europeans have a lot of chances to meet each other, also because geographically Europe is much more manageable than the big countries where we come from. So I think the greatest thing is that the EU is really funding us to come from different countries and to also interact with Europeans, because sometimes the discussions in the global south are very different from the discussions in Europe. And myself, I found this, for example, coming from Patagonia and Argentina to Denmark, and the way sustainability, for example, was approached, it's so different. And these are the things that I think make it really worth it to join one EMJM, because it's just the value that we bring by joining diverse ideas, diverse perspectives, and life experiences, because at the end of the day, we are very similar in many ways. We're all thriving, we all want to be educated, but the places where we come from are very different, our families are very different, our values are different, so we also have to find a way to create a melting pot for this that will then build a better future for all of us.
Violet, you're from Argentina, but now you're living in Belgium. Can you talk a little bit about that? What do you do there?
Yes, of course. As I said, I'm a political scientist originally, so I always wanted to do an experience in the, let's say, the supranational institution, that we have in this world, that is the European Union. And I applied for traineeship, actually, in 2019. I applied many times before, and I was always pre-selected, but never got in. But you have to keep trying. I applied, and I got in. That's how I ended up in Brussels. And that was for 6 months. These are paid traineeships by the European Commission. So definitely check them out, because it's a really good place to start, as well to also put your skills of international environments in practice, right? Then I moved on to an NGO that worked with EU public funding as well in Brussels, in social justice affairs. And then until last year, I was working in CINEA, which is one of the agencies of the Commission implementing the EU Green Deal. So also very challenging. And it was on communications, institutional communications, digital media, social media, around a hot topic, which is sustainable energy, which is not my domain at all, but the part of sustainability from our masters also helped me land this job. So I was very excited to also contribute to this project. And this year, I'm going to start a new role, still working with the Commission, but not in the Commission. So, and that's going to be on cybersecurity. So let's see how that goes. That's the next step.
Great, thank you.